Now, ladies and gentlemen, the truth about Counter-Strike Global Offensive on the Source 2 engine. Practically the past 2 or 3 months on YouTube, Twitter, and just all social media platforms for CSGO, everyone's been talking about Source 2. Everyone wants Source 2. And I feel like sometimes not everyone understands what Source 2 is actually going to bring to the table for us at the very beginning, and of course during the long run. And in today's video, I'm going to do my best to explain out of what I know of Source 2, of course. My knowledge is very limited, but from the research I've done, I kind of know the basics here and there. There are some things we're not going to be able to predict in the future. Like, of course, if the movement's going to change, we don't really know if things like that are going to change much. But I want to discuss what I know and what I think is going to happen in the next little while. And I will say right off the bat, it's not all that, especially at the beginning. It's going to come with a lot of problems, but also some good things. And it's going to be better in the long term, of course. And well, before we go any further in today's commentary about Source 2, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button and of course subscribe. And here's a quick word from our video sponsor, Skins Monkey.
Hello, buddy. Are you tired of your ugly skins? Nothing lost. Don't skip the ad. Open skinsmonkey.com, trade your CSGO skins, and receive up to $5 bonus for free. What are you waiting for? Don't be a loser and trade on Skins Monkey. Psst, there is also a 25% deposit bonus.
So like I said earlier, my knowledge is pretty limited, but from what I know, I would say I know a little more than the average person on Source 2. Done a lot of research the past few months, and the first thing I want to talk about is something like the movement. From what I've heard from other YouTubers, and this doesn't really say much, the movement might change a little bit. Everyone knows how CSGO is most likely and is the stickiest game. And what I mean by that is if you click WASD, for an example, or space, it sometimes feels like it takes a little bit of a second. If you go play Valorant for 5 minutes and you come back to CS, you'll get what I'm saying and understand that a little. CSGO's movement is very clunky. It doesn't feel all natural. It doesn't really feel the same as if you go play another first-person shooter and come over to CS. It takes a little bit different of a skill level. And also, it's sometimes annoying. So could that change? I'm not sure. Really, it's going to be up to Valve, of course, when they release that. And second, Source 2 is not going to look like the Unreal Engine videos I've talked about recently. So there is this guy on Twitter and Discord, of course, he had a whole server. You can actually play this. It's the Unreal Engine in CSGO of what Dust 2 would look like, a bomb site specifically. You have long and CT spawn and catwalk, what it would look like on Unreal Engine. Now, CSGO is not going to look like this in the future. As much as I would want it to, and they'd be really, really awesome for it, it's just not going to happen. Source 2 doesn't really change much like that specifically. From what I've heard, seen, and researched myself, Source 2 is going to be pretty much the exact same game, and it's actually probably going to bring a lot more problems at the beginning than a lot of good things, which is going to be kind of interesting, but it's going to need that if it wants to survive and kind of keep up with technology in the future. So the lighting is going to be the same as what we've seen in the Gabe Follower video when he created Source 2. This is probably the closest thing we're going to get to what Source 2 will look like in the future, and it will be more for the long term. And what I mean by that is maps are slowly going to have to update over time. Kind of like when CSGO came out versus 1.6 in Source, there was a little bit of a graphical update and difference, especially in Go versus Source in 1.6, but they slowly had to over time rework and remake some of the maps. For an example, the new Dust 2 versus the old Dust 2 looks a lot different, looks a lot better. That's what's going to happen in Source 2 one day, and they're slowly going to make maps a little more graphically interesting. For an example, Prime right now, which is the new map for Wingman that just came out with the most recent birthday update in CS, this is a map that is pushing the limits of the Source 1 engine currently. This is probably the best graphical map of all time in CSGO, in my personal opinion. Just looks the best. It has the most effects. You can see leaves moving around, but there are some things really holding back CSGO right now, and that, of course, is being the Source 1 engine. So with maps kind of being in a little bubble right now, being hard to make because they're really limited of what you can do with them, because Source 1 versus Source 2 has a lot of differences with what you can make and how you make maps, and of course CSGO skins, and that's something I want to go into next. So CSGO skins, if I had to guess with just an educated guess here, skins will most likely be updated at the beginning when Source 2 comes out. So whenever this happens, kind of like how Dota 2 happened, the big rumor right now is it's going to launch like the Reborn update with Dota 2. You're going to have an option to launch in Source 1 or Source 2. So if you don't like Source 2, you launch in Source 1. If you want to play more of like a weird beta type of thing where it could be really bad with lag, with crashes, skins might not load in properly, stuff like that, you play Source 2. But I think things like the Desert Eagle Normangander or the Op Prince or the Op Gun Gear will be updated with lighting and pearlescent effects, for an example, which will be really, really good. And then new ones over time will be added as well. And this is where I think CSGO is really going to shine, is just the overall map design and weapon designs in the future of the game. So the next 5 years, I think that's what Valve is thinking and what most people are thinking with Source 2 anyway right now. It's more of like a future proofing than a current state of CS right now. Currently right now, CS is perfectly fine. They've been fine for a very long time with sales, and of course player numbers, they've been great as well. Maps and skins are just going to be a little harder to create, but it's going to take a lot more effort, and they're going to be looking a lot better as well. Right now, currently with skins anyway, they're very limited to where the fact that they can't have any 3D printed things on a weapon or on a skin, for an example. They have to use all lighting, and that's same with stickers, which is really, really interesting. And you would think sometimes it actually takes more effort and harder work and more research to make a skin or make a sticker because it's based off of lighting rather than just adding actual boxes or effects on a weapon, like weapon charms, for an example. Those are the type of things I think would get added with Source 2, maybe not at the beginning, but over time. And of course, another big thing is 64-bit. It's newer, it's going to run faster, be better for most people. And that's a huge thing, honestly, for CS right now. I think that'll be very, very interesting because I believe besides Mac users, for some reason, everyone uses 32-bit CS. Last couple of things I want to talk about is, of course, skins. I've heard a lot of videos recently. I was going to make a whole video on this just on its own because people were panicking when they saw this. And this was TDM Jesus' video on Valve possibly getting rid of skins or banning skins or making a whole new system. CSGO 2 skins 0.0, if that makes any sense. A whole new game with new skins. Your current skins are going to be worthless. And I want to say right off the bat, I don't think this is going to happen. There's really no chance, in my personal opinion, that this would ever happen. Take it with a grain of salt if you want, but Valve, out of all the other gaming companies on the market, compared to EA, Activision, they're probably amongst the smartest. Obviously, they care about money. It's been very clear when they're putting out, music kits and music discs and a sticker capsule instead of, making a new map instead of re-releasing Anubis for the second time, I believe. But they've been pretty good with holding this community together for a very long time. And with skins, they're the moneymaker for CSGO. They're the moneymaker for Valve. There's a reason Valve is worth so much, and that is because of CSGO and skins specifically. They've seen the market on third-party websites when they've had to step in and ban accounts like the CS Money hack. The Russian website hack a little while ago where HFB got hacked. All of his skins were sold. They stepped in. They see how much these skins are worth to people and also just in general, and how rare they are, of course, as well. I'm just thinking about it as a realistic point of view here. If Valve came in and decided to get rid of skins or make a whole new system, you'd have $20,000 knives, $100,000 skins, $200,000 stickers and knives. In the future, that's what they'd be. Just all of a sudden vanish. They're gone. People would never forgive Valve for that. They wouldn't come back to CSGO. And I actually think this would put a whole big punch in gaming in general. I don't think people would buy microtransactions in the future, and this would ruin any future proof, I would feel like, for any company later on for skins or tradable items in the future where you can sell them for your life money. See, I don't think they'd get rid of skins. It's just a stupid idea to even have, in my personal opinion. But it's a good question, though. I understand why people ask it. So overall, I think Source 2 is going to be really good, but I don't think it's what everyone actually thinks. I think Source 2 is going to bring a lot more problems than it is going to bring good in the next little while. And of course, with the release, we don't know when this is going to happen. If I had to guess, and from what I've heard from Gabe Follower on Twitter and whatnot, it seems to be that Valve has delayed this right now for many different reasons. I'm assuming it's because they're working on it still and they want to polish it the best they can, especially for something like skins. They want to be very careful around skins. And this is something as well, a reason I don't think CSGO has updated and gone into the Source engine for the most part has been because of CSGO skins. CSGO skins are kind of holding them back in a lot of ways, and in a sense, because they're scared to update the game and people would go away, if that makes any sense to you. That's just my personal opinion. I think it'll be good for the longevity and long-term and future-proof of CSGO. Even when it comes out, I think it's going to be great as well. I think we're going to see some graphical differences, and it's supposed to be improving performance quite a bit as well. Peace out, guys.